Okay, Lee, I noticed you've got a variety of different top kits set up with different rigs on them. Could you just explain a little to me about your rigs and how you actually connect them to your elastic, please?
No problem, Clint. One of the key things when I drew this peg was I knew that to catch a winning weight, it was likely to be on one line on the pole. So my rigs are designed to cover the options on that one particular line so I can concentrate on catching the most fish. Just starting with the line at the top. What I've used there is a Dacron connector to connect my elastic to my line. There's a couple of reasons for this. Firstly, I like to try and keep the line proud of the pole tip to prevent tangles. So as you can see there, the Dacron sits proud of the pole. We've got a bead, and the bead sits very neatly on the end of the pole. It just prevents water going back up inside the pole. So it's a very neat detail. It's very direct to the pole elastic. Works very well. We're also looking at a loop system to connect the line to the piece of Dacron. What I've done is formed a loop in the line with a loop on top, and I've connected the two together. It's very, very strong. The main line is Reflow Power 019. It's a 4x14 float, Durafloat 10. These are my personal favourite for commercial fisheries. They're very, very strong. They use a spring at the eye at the top, a very thick bristle, and then I've used 3 rubbers there to keep the float as a very strong setup. Some people use 2 rubbers. That's okay on a very short stem. The 3 rubbers mean that the float bends together and it prevents damage. Moving down the rig, got a bulker shot at the bottom, got 5 number 8s. You can see there I've strung that bulk out. It's quite interesting because a lot of the time I used to fish with a bulk of shot all together, and I found that although it registered bites quite quickly, it sometimes seemed that the fish were picking up the bait and spitting it out. Since I've used the strung bulk, I think of it as a leaded line almost effect, and it just seems that the bites are a bit more confident. I think there's shotting patterns needs to be very simple, and this is a very simple shotting pattern, and it means if the fish hooks it, you can almost distinguish liners. It's been working well for me. I've used a simple loop to loop to connect my hook length to my main line. I've used a foot long hook length, Reflow Power 015, and basically the foot long hook length is really important because carp move into the peg and they're big fish, and as they come into the peg they can knock the shot. If you've got a foot long hook length, it gives the fish a chance to get near your bait without indicating too strongly on the float, so you can distinguish between liners and proper bites. The hook then I've used is the PR456. It's in a size 14. It's a very strong hook and it's good with a variety of baits. And basically what I've found is that the fish aren't really feeding shallow today. When we were here in the final, there was a lot more carp feeding shallow. So we've had to try and adapt to what we're faced with today, and the fish definitely seem to be coming better on the bottom, catching a lot of nice tench and some F1s on the bottom. So what I'm doing is I'm just picking out a nice big worm, and all I do is nip the very head off of the worm and thread it on to my hook. This is on the lighter rig that was for on the bottom. There we go. And we're in. Now I was getting a lot of indications there. I can already tell this seems like quite a good fish. I don't think it's a tench. Tench tend to be a little bit more violent when you first hook them. So again, we'll just take it steady, ship him back. Make sure we're in control of the fish before we start pulling any harder. Fish is running out, so I'm just going to follow the fish out. Could be a carp, this one. We'll just take it steady. 11 holler's doing all the work for me. Like I said before, it's a medium elastic. We're on quite light tackle, but we've been catching a lot of those tension F1s, so we'll just take it steady. One of the dangers with fishing on the bottom when there's a lot of fish about is the potential of foul looking the fish, so it could even be one of those. So you just have to not overly exert too much pressure. So what I'm going to do now is just take a little bit of elastic off to make sure I've got the fish under control. It's going for a run again now, so I'm just going to let that elastic go back out. Just with my nets there again, just having that extra bit of elastic in, it just meant I could pull it away there where it was trying to snag me up against the nets. So hopefully, here he is. We've chased him, we've got him. Yeah, nice tench, around about £3 plus. Absolutely beautiful fish. Let's get him unhooked. Cracking fish.